Station 1. Mixed wooded fen, broad-leaved deciduous forest with scattered evergreens. Between the beginning of the boardwalk and this station is the lag, a shallow moat that carries water around the peatland and toward Pushaw Lake. Typically, the lag is dry in midsummer to early fall. The mixed wooded fen is fertilized and acidity reduced by mineral-rich water from the adjacent upland and from the shallow peat. The surface is bumpy with hummocks and hollows. Most of these hummocks are formed by root masses of old trees. Almost all plant growth is confined to the hummocks, which are drier than the hollows, showing that small differences in elevation can make a big difference in wetlands. Red maple is the most common tree here. Black ash, northern white cedar, and balsam fir are also present. Tall shrubs include speckled alder and winterberry with its red fruits in fall and winter. The most obvious herbaceous plants are the robust skunk cabbage, the royal fern, the largest fern in Maine, the cinnamon fern, and the smaller sensitive fern. The fuzz from cinnamon fern is used by birds to line their nests. Canada warblers, northern water thrushes, and veeries breed here. Station 2. This part of the peatland was formed by the filling of a small lake and development of a wooded swamp, as evidenced by a 4-foot deep deposit of lake sediment under the peat, and masses of wood at the bottom of the peat. From Station 1, you have climbed a few inches on a very gradual slope formed from the accumulation of peat. These few inches make a big difference. Water drains off toward the mixed wooded fen and lag, so pools are less common here. Broad-leaved trees like red maple have become less common, and the needle-leaved conifers, black spruce and tamarack, dominate the forest. An increased abundance of acid-loving peat moss and plants in the heath family indicate increased acidity of the soil. Station 3. Upland Island, conifer forest with some broad-leaved trees. This station is on the highest part of a rocky ridge that elsewhere is buried by peat. The ridge juts above the peat to form an upland island. Such islands are common in many peatlands. The mineral soil here is almost as acidic as the peat at the next station along the boardwalk, but conditions for plant growth otherwise are better here. Old stumps are scattered around the island, indicating that it was logged. The present forest dates back to about 1940. Gray birch, a species of open sites, is dying, and the forest is now dominated by black spruce, tamarack, and red maple trees. Most of the plant species on this isolated upland also grow in the peatland. Birds that breed here include black-capped chickadees, red-breasted nuthatches, and hermit thrushes. Wood frogs, cinereous shrews, and red-backed voles forage on the forest floor. Station 4. Wooded Shrub Heath. Low shrubs with scattered dwarfed spruces and tamaracks. What a dramatic change in vegetation. The stunted black spruce trees, some as old as 100 years, are older than the much taller trees in the nearby forest. We have reached a part of the peatland where the soil is extremely infertile. The plants receive nutrients only from rain, snow, and dust from the atmosphere, a condition called ombrotrophic. Most of the shrubs are evergreen, an adaptation to nutrient scarcity. Evergreens retain more nutrients, and their season for photosynthesis is longer than for deciduous plants. Pitcher plants are abundant here. Orchids bloom here in late spring and early summer. Orchids and shrubs in the heath family, including Labrador tea, leatherleaf, sheep laurel, and bog rosemary, have fungi on their roots. These fungi help the plants obtain nutrients from the nutrient-poor soil. Station 5. Mosaic of moss, lawns, and wooded shrub heath hummocks. The vegetation in this part of the bog is a patchwork or mosaic of lawns and hummocks. The nearly level surfaces are large hollows called moss lawns because they are carpeted by sphagnum moss, a red species, and a bright yellow-green one in lowest and wettest areas. Lawns are extremely wet, with water at or just below the surface. When shrubs like leatherleaf grow on lawns, they are very stunted. Cotton grass, really a sedge, with its bunches of white cottony fruits, also grows here. This plant has airspace in its leaves, stem, and roots that supply its roots with air needed for survival in the oxygen-depleted peat. Hummocks are raised as much as a foot above the lawns, are drier, and support a more diverse and luxuriant vegetation. Hummock species include black spruce, tamarack, leatherleaf, sheep laurel, bog laurel, and Labrador tea. Unlike the wooded fen, here the hummocks are formed by the upward growth of small shrubs and sphagnum. Station 6. The single pipe next to this station has a floating gauge to indicate the depth of the water surface below the peat surface. Water depth varies seasonally. The group of white pipes in the distance is used to study water flow in the peat. This research by University of Maine scientists is helping to predict effects of future climate change on peatlands. Station 7. Mosaic of wooded shrub, heath, and forested bog. This station, like Station 4, is near the outer edge of the ambrotrophic, nutrients only from the atmosphere, part of the peatland. This station has above average habitat diversity, with patches of low shrubs and trees of various sizes. Birds characteristic of each of these habitats occur here, resulting in a large variety of species, including Lincoln sparrow, palm warbler, Nashville warbler, and the common yellowthroat. Dense shrubs provide concealing habitat for red-backed voles. The wide-ranging northern leopard and wood frogs forage here.